Hi everyone, I am Matteo, and today I'm going to walk you through my live set titled Keep on Dreaming. And in this video, I'll break down what inspired the project, the gear I used, and how I approached building and performing the set. Let's start from the beginning. My live set is made up entirely of original tracks that I wrote and produced myself, with the exception of one track, Reminiscing by Imanu. Overall, the vibe is dominated by ethereal, spacious atmospheres and mixed with punchy percussions, deep bass, and high energy moments, drawing inspiration from genres such as drum and bass, house, or UKG. And for the performance, I used the Ableton Live, taking full advantage of the session view to create a dynamic live experience. And this is something you'll often see from artists like Ben Bomber, Floating Points, Felix Raphael, or even Anomaly when they perform their own sets. To really understand how I built this project, it's helpful to break it down into two main sections: the performance and improvisation side, and the all in depth preparation and behind the scenes work. For this set, a huge part of the process involved detailed planning and for example, the layout of the clips and how I arrange the scenes, automations for each sections, and so I could have the freedom to improvise with effects, vocals, and piano while still keeping the flow during all the transitions. So let's start with the creative side of the production. For these tracks, I went for a sound palette built on basic synth waveforms, so a lot of saw waves and punchy percussion that I designed primarily from Foley, aiming for a very organic sound. My main influences were artists like Bonobo, Burial for the textures, and I blended them with the sounds inspired by artists like Imanu, Manshin, and the Caracol Project. This is why I put a song by Imanu in the live set. So I also wanted to bring in some personal trademarks, like using polyrhythms between the bass and the chords and the percussions, as well as some unusual harmonic progressions for these genres. For example, the progression that is present in the first track lasts 6 bars, breaking away from standard grid structures. As for the track list, I decided to keep a lot of variety in the BPMs in the beginning, keeping the energy high at the start with drum and bass, but slowing things down at the end to create a more ambient and atmospheric conclusion. Inside Ableton Session View, I structured each track using three main stems, one for bass, one for drums, and one for all the other harmonic elements. This allowed me to play around with the arrangement of each song live and to have more creative options on the fly. I divided each track into three main scenes: an intro, a build-up, and a drop, so I could improvise the structure of every track right there on stage. And just like Ben Bomber and Felix Raphael discuss in their session breakdowns. So after setting the stems, I created a dedicated vocal track and built an instrument track for the live performance side. So now onto the live performance itself. This is where the most intensive part of the work came in. I divided my live approach into four main elements: vocals, piano, transitions, and triggering scenes. For this, I drew a lot of inspiration from artists like Fred again, especially in his incredible Tiny Desk concert, reinterpreting those ideas with my own equipment and my own setup. So for the vocal performance, I set up a custom effects chain. First, a preamp emulation, then autotune, EQ, compression, and a lush reverb to achieve a breathy, ethereal vocal. And then I mapped delay and a lush reverb to my innovation launch control, that is this controller, to the first two channels, delay and reverb, and giving me real-time control over my vocal effects as I sang. For this vocal setup, I took influence from the way Yeb uses real-time vocal effects like live with her own controller setups. The same effects was set up for the piano, mapped to other channel on the launch control, the other two channels, as well as creating a big atmospheric sound in some of the more ambient sections. When it came to transitions, I used the same effect chain plus a low pass filter and a sidechain effect to create that signature pumping sensation on the harmonic elements. I mapped everything to the launch control, and for the final two tracks of the set, for example, I used beat matching with this effect chain, so matched the BPMs, and with the effect chain I created a seamless transition, blending multiple effects at once. So I created a smooth, energetic changeover. To trigger scenes and place them live, finally I used the Automation Launchpad, that which is perfect, a perfect controller. Preparing this set was required a lot of problem solving and a deep knowledge of the software. And I'm proud to say that everything you saw was the result of my own research and experimentation. One of the biggest challenges was automating specific parameters for each song, making sure each clip triggered exactly the right changes. For example, I needed to automate changing piano sounds for one song, and by shutting off one plugin and activating another at the exact right moment. Even optimizing my computer CPU, which is an important thing when you're playing live. And another challenge was like changing the key and range setting for autotune depending on which song I was singing, since each track had different vocal requirements. So, in conclusion, this performance really helped me bridge the worlds of production and live performance, and I feel like I've developed my own workflow that I'll keep improving over time. In the future, I want to bring even more live instruments into my sets and start including live looping elements, similar to what Fred again did in his Tiny Desk concert. So, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more performances, follow my journey.